Bind me, gag me, take me to the bunny ranch. People dying, kill me in the packing house. Even you have to win.
All right, hey, everybody. Welcome to another Bunny Is podcast. I know, it's kind of jumping right into it.
Wow.
Keep the mics hot.
All right.
Well, we took a little time beforehand. That's why we kind of, it's not like we need to rush through this, but at the same time, let's get to work.
No, let's get it over with.
Yeah, let's get this fucking over with.
We're all uncomfortable.
Yeah, we're making. So this week, I'm joined by old friend of the podcast, Shawn DePasquale.
Hello.
Hello. And also another old friend of the podcast, Mr. Matt Cohen.
I was waiting for my proper introduction.
I know, yeah, drum roll, please.
And now that I've been properly introduced, hello.
Hi.
I am old. Let's not get into it.
Let's not.
Hello, Warren.
Hey, Warren. Yeah, I haven't used that term in a while.
It's because it's my term, Mac, and I will sue you. All right.
Yeah, you forgot that Matt, when he left,
I'm
took that
incredibly
term,
litigious.
He
Yeah.
took that term with him, and he refused to
I
let
said,
us.
I don't need anything. I just need this term and this thermos and nothing else. I don't need anything.
And maybe this lamp.
So I got a lamp, a term, and a thermos, so I'm good. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, here we are.
Podcasting is still a thing, huh?
Yeah, apparently.
Who would have thunk it?
I know.
Well,
Matt.
Conan O'Brien just recently invented it, and now we're all trying to just follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, we're all playing catch-up.
Yep.
We're all playing
There
baby
were
tomatoes.
two sets of footprints on the beach, and what I didn't know was one was Conan O'Brien's the whole time. I know Jesus stuff.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What are we doing
Oh yeah, we
today?
forgot to mention when Matt left, he went to Bible school, and he has since
At
become-
Pepperdine, so there's a lot of beach.
Yeah, and he has since become very, very immersed in Christianity. So welcome back, Christian Matt.
I wouldn't say devout, but I do like being referred to as Christian Matt, so thank you.
Christian Matt. So, Christian Matt, what are we doing this week?
Me? Okay.
Well, I mean,
Hey, guest, introduce the concept of the
I
episode.
think we're doing.
well, no,
hold on.
yeah, because I figured, since
Yeah.
you have to speak in front of your congregation every
obviously.
week, that I want to give you a
Brothers
warm-up.
and sisters. We're doing a list, a listicle episode.
We're doing an old school list one.
Yeah, speak in tongues, but I'm a Pentecostalist.
I was gonna say, we forgot. You didn't tell me you went to school for being a
You're good at it, too.
You gotta let God inside, and the way you do that is by going. There you go.
Way to go. So, yeah, we're doing another classic list episode.
Apologies to our snake worshipping listeners.
Yes. And also I think we started on a theme that we were kind of a little not sure about, but we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
It's all worsts.
Yeah.
Like, we were trying to come up with ideas, and it was just, everything was like, oh, the worst this, the worst that. So,
That's the headspace we're in, all being post-35-year-old gentlemen.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything is just the worst.
Everything is the worst. Well, it's also
worst bowel movements, go.
Every bowel movement
Last
of my life.
week.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Any bowel movement that doesn't involve lactate and fucking Tums at this point.
You need more
Too
fiber.
much information. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, a lot more fiber, buddy.
Eat a lot of cheese.
That'll clear that up. Oh yeah, cheese is bad for that.
Less cheese?
Less cheese.
So less cheese.
There you go, folks. You've heard it here first.
We're all old.
All right, it's been a good episode, guys. Cheese is the worst.
Suck
Gotcha.
a dick or something.
Yeah.
What's the first category we got?
Which one should we start with? Let's go with, because we got like 5 here. Do we want to do worst school experiences first?
Sure.
Yeah, worst school experiences.
Okay.
Who wants to start us off? Who's got one?
Are we starting with? We're not starting with the absolute worst, right? We're working.
No,
our
we
way-
work our way up to it usually. Yeah.
Okay.
Build.
Yeah,
One
good
time
build.
I got slapped by a girlfriend at the lunch table, but it wasn't like I had done anything inappropriate. I was just like being loud with my friends, and she was like, "Stop being loud," and I ignored her, and so she backhanded me from across the table, and I fell.
So emasculating. Like,
Yeah, it was very emasculating. It was very upsetting.
How old were you?
That was in 7th grade.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
In
Yeah.
front of like everybody?
Yeah, it was at lunch at like the
Did they call
table
you
with all of our
little
friends.
slappy after that or something?
Subsequently to that same girl went on to murder her
Oh, is
mother.
this the murder girl?
I was gonna say the murder
know the
girl.
murder girl.
Yeah. So I felt.
Hey,
I felt,
you got off easy.
That's how I felt after we found out she had killed
Rest in
a
peace, that girl's-
parent.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
by the way,
I made it off pretty easy.
by
Although
the
I
way,
shouldn't really
Shawn dated a murder girl.
I shouldn't talk about that anymore because she's out now.
It's also Googleable, like so Googleable. When you were like, "Hey,
you could Google it. They made a TV show about
she's
it.
on Facebook," and did they really?
But she's back, is what I'm saying.
get it on the podcast.
No.
Yeah,
thanks.
her and Michael Alec. Yeah.
Yeah, all her buddies.
All of our friends. All
I've
our
heard
Merton
that
friends.
she has made a lot of progress and reformed herself, and I hope she's doing well. And
Are you proud of her?
She's not. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm proud.
We'll do a murder girlfriend Michael Alig Max Landis spectacular. We'll break podcasting. So I wrote down scary school, and at first I didn't know what it meant, but then I realized it could mean two things. When I was in 9th grade, I'm from Long Island, which isn't far from Mr. Culkin here. Do you remember when Madison Square Garden used to have an annual haunted house in it called Madison Scare Garden?
Oh, as soon as you said Madison Scare Garden, then I remember.
Did you ever go to it?
No.
Okay, so we went on a field trip in 8th grade, and I was like, oh, cool, this is the greatest field trip of all time. There's no, learning. We're just going to a haunted house. What I hadn't been to at that point was a professional haunted house. So within 5 minutes, I was in, the nurse's office of the garden on oxygen, weeping.
It was like a Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah. But for children, and I just remember
not Scary Farm?
Halloween Horror Nights level of scary, and I just remember weeping and going how is this educational? How is this educational? And then the other scary school story could be at one point in high school, they were like, you got problems, we don't know what to do with you. And it might be drugs or you're crazy or something. So they were just trying anything. So at one point, to scare me, I think, they were like, we want you to tour an alternate school that we might want to send you to. And it was literally Dangerous Minds. And every kid I met was like, hey, do you have any heroin on you right now?
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was going to be a short bus school.
No. It was all delinquent, scary kids. And I was the least scary I was the scary kid in my school, but put in a really scary school. Yeah. I would have been murdered in 3 minutes.
Please don't put me in this school.
That was the closest I forget the name of the academy. I literally got hit up for heroin 4 different times.
Because it's
I smoke pot on occasion.
It's like sending someone away for being the class clown is different than sending someone away for beating up kids all day long. And it's like to put them both in the same school seems
it was a little incongruous, so I didn't wind up attending. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to pull a Michelle Pfeiffer.
I wish.
Yeah.
How do I teach these
You
kids?
changed all those children.
I just turned every chair around, and I was like, there you go, guys.
You just settle
the
all
power
chairs
is now
backwards.
in you. Yeah.
I think mine is from first grade, and I went to a Catholic school, and there was Miss Skiffington. She was my first teacher, and she did this thing where she would pull on your ear, like if you were being bad. It was kind of this punitive kind of thing. And I remember, and I came from a semi-abusive household, but for some reason, it was the fact that she snuck up behind me. I could almost imagine her tiptoeing, and she pulled the shit out of my. It was one of the most painful things I'd had in my 6 years of life before that, and it was in front of everybody and everything like that. And it was it scarred me. I'm still talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm practically 40.
Yeah,
and she's long dead though now, right?
Oh yes, probably.
Luckily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She was about 80 years old.
No more
then.
ear pulling for you, old lady.
Yeah, exactly.
Burn in hell, bitch.
Hey. That's crazy, man. If I had a couple teachers not even curse at me, but talk to me in a way that made it clear that they dropped the teacher-student dynamic and were just I fucking hate this piece of shit human. Yeah. And I'd be like, hey, I'm a fucking kid.
Yep.
You can't. I would. It's
you can't talk to me that way.
Imagine if someone pulled in my ear. I used to flip out when they would give me a look. I'd flip desks over and shit.
Yeah, no, but it was an old-fashioned Catholic
The number
school.
2 on my list is getting hit by a teacher. So I had
go.
Matt's reaction where it was like,
go ahead. That's your number 2.
Well, yeah. So no, number 2 is I was in Miss Whitworth's music class. And and again, it was I was just being a smart ass. I was just being a smart. She was teaching about some fucking shit. And I was I had a quip for everything she said. And she was stop. And then I had another quip for that. And I clearly pushed her to the point where she kept getting closer to be stop, no, stop, And then I think she thought if she stood right next to me, I wouldn't do it. But I did. And then she just went pop. Just reached out and just smacked me across the face.
How old were you on this one?
This was in 8th grade. This was the same school the following year. I got hit a lot.
As soon as you said a music class, I was hoping you were going to get El
With a
Kabong.
recorder or something.
El Kabong.
Yeah.
She just
she
grabbed
just
a violin and hit you.
slapped me.
Did everyone go oh.
Yes, because that was
Was
this
it
wasn't
the
a Catholic
slap?
school.
Yeah.
This was
This is a Catholic
what?
school in the 90s.
No, and I had enough.
Or the 80s.
I had enough know-how to be I just stood up and I was I'm going to tell my mom. I was I'm going to tell my mom and I'm going to get you fucking fired. And
I'm telling.
I did tell my mom, but she
not
didn't
get
get
fired?
fired. No, because my mom came in and we had a parent-teacher conference with the lady, and my mom was okay.
You probably deserved it.
She was tell me what happened. And in front of me, she explained her side of it. And my mom was is that what happened? And I was yeah. My mom was okay, well, don't ever hit children, but like you should stop acting like that in class.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, she was like, you shouldn't do that. She's like, but I won't press charges or anything. She's like, because he pushed you to a limit. She's like, but you need, but you gotta, maybe it's time for a vacation or something. Because if you're this annoyed by a 14-year-old kid, maybe
which is what you do for a living.
Get out of the 14-year-old kid business.
Yeah,
like go deal with someone else. Yeah.
All right, Matt.
What's your number 2?
So these are all not fun now that I think about it to talk about. So when I was in like 9th grade, I had this crush on this girl, and I was hanging out at her house once, and like I was not hooking up with anyone, let alone her, but I was like nascent ways of trying to figure out how that might work. And she was talking about. Long story short, she was like, oh, I just bought this new bikini for the summer. And I was like, oh, you should try it on. She was like, only if you try it on first. And I was like, well, if that gets you to put a bikini on in front of me, then fuck yeah, let's go. I don't give a shit. So, like, I tried on this bikini, and she took a picture, and then
I was about to say pictures.
Her older brother took the picture and printed out, like, 10,000 copies of it and, like, handed them all at this open house party and, like, hung them up around the school.
How old were you?
Like 15.
Okay, yeah.
I remember having a distinct moment of, like, cool, I either literally commit suicide and or do a school shooting, or I own this. So I just started signing autographs on everyone.
There you go. That's the best way to
Did
go.
she change into the bikini?
Yes.
Okay,
From
good.
her perspective, and I still believe her, her brother took that picture from her
being a
room
dick,
and was
yeah.
being a dick. Her older
Yeah.
brother was a dick or whatever. But, like, that open house party, before they passed it around the school, I went to an open house party on a Friday night, and as I was walking up to the party, I saw a friend coming out, and they were like, hey, you should not go in there. And I was like, what? Why? And they were like, just turn around and leave right now, buddy. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Hey.
And then it was like a movie moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah, it's totally like a 90s movie moment.
That sucks.
Fuck you, Justin Shack, I think. I don't remember the guy's name.
Is he dead now?
Probably not.
Oh.
He's a healthy, vibrant Long Island Jew. We have insurance and stuff.
Probably works in the Trump administration.
All right. So one of my worst school experiences was okay. This is kind of weird because it's not like the worst, but I was in Spanish class, and we were doing our test, and this is in high school, and it was all about clock, telling the time. Yeah. So it was
El tiempo.
Yeah, el tiempo hace.
Please tell the rest of the story in broken Spanish.
Un poquito.
Yeah.
So I was putting in the times on the clock, kind of thing, like 4:30 and stuff like that. But it would be like the hour hand would go to the 4.
Yeah.
And the minute hand would go to
Right, it was all written in
6.
Spanish, and you had to translate it. Yeah.
So there was this thing. She failed me on the test, even though I got every question right, because she goes, the minute hand at 12 or whatever it was, though the hour hand between at 4:30 is actually between the 4 and the 5.
Oh, come on.
And so I got every question wrong when it came to something like that, and I threw a fucking fit.
Yeah, that's not fair.
You
knew what the time was.
Are you saying I'm not smart enough to know how to tell time? Is this time telling class?
Yeah.
And all that stuff? And I made a fucking stink about it in class. I made us think about it. It's the principal. I made us think about it all fucking week. It was like, no, I said I even told her, I said I am not taking Spanish anymore. I'm going to show up, and and I'm going to do my best to not be disruptive, but. Honestly,
yeah, that's a
you're
bullshit
You're full
technicality.
of shit. And so it was just. I just remember it took up
Because the test is whether or not you can understand the Spanish, and clearly you did, not whether or not you know how to draw a clock.
And you know what? I
That's
bet you. And the
ridiculous.
thing is, to this day, I bet you she still stands her ground.
Oh, I'm sure she grades tests like that all the time.
I was completely wrong, and she's right. She sleeps well at night, knowing that I don't know how to tell time,
Yeah, but
and
you
that
sleep,
bothers me.
But you sleep in a nicer house,
Yes,
so
I know, but still,
She's a teacher.
Come on, Miss Cabigas, what's wrong with you? Come on.
yeah, Miss Cabigas, cut the shit.
Cut the shit. I know how to tell time. I just felt insulted that I didn't know how to
Cut
look
the
at
shit,
a watch.
Cabigas.
Yeah.
All right, so worst experience.
Yeah. So,
Mine wasn't in school, but it was a school trip.
Gotcha.
They sent us to space camp, which I was very
just
excited
rewatched that
about.
movie
Yes,
recently.
I was a huge fan of the movie Space Camp as a kid, and I was like, send me to space camp. The opportunity came up to go to space camp. This was probably like 4th or 5th grade. And we went to space camp, and I immediately got strep throat and like 103 fever and was violently ill. So I wasn't allowed to do anything. I was just confined. I wasn't even allowed. They put everybody in like these like group bunks.
Were you quarantined?
I was quarantined. I wasn't even allowed to be in the group bunk with
Quarantined at
everybody.
space camp.
And the worst part is, so the first
Had you already gotten slapped?
the first no, that would be years later.
Okay.
No, so the first
I
day
really
there,
wish an astronaut slapped him.
before I knew
Where the story's going?
the
You were
astronauts
slapped by Buzz Aldrin.
before I knew I was sick, I wasn't feeling good, right? And we had like this, when the first night we got there, they fed us all like dinner, and then like I didn't really eat it.
Tang.
And then no, it was like cafeteria food.
Astronaut ice cream.
I wished. No, and then the dessert was like a brownie, right? Like a cafeteria style brownie. And the chaperone was like, you have to eat your food. And I was like, I don't want to eat. I'm not feeling good. And he was like, you have to finish it and eat it. And I was like, no. And then he like walked away.
Smacked you with the brownie.
I put ketchup on it, like as like just to be a dick. And then he came back over and he was like, you have to eat it now. Like now you really have to eat it. So I was already mad. And like I refused, and then they were like, oh, all right, well, you can't go to the thing tonight. You have to go back early to the bunk. Then I went back that night and I got violently ill. And then I was just locked in a room in this like nurse's office in the space camp. It sucked. And like, I think actually my parents drove up and had to come pick me up because I was like shivering, and they were like,
Oh, God.
we don't have the facilities here to like.
I would love if that teacher came out at the last second when you get into the car and handed you a brownie covered in ketchup and kind of just like, you still have to eat
this. Okay.
It'll make you feel better.
I'm sorry.
So you didn't get to do any space camp stuff?
I never got to do any space camp stuff. I didn't
that
get to
little,
go
like,
on the-
gyroscopy
I didn't get to go on the
thing.
gyro. I didn't get to. They put everybody like 2 weeks later. My friend Jason Reiner excitedly described the entire experience to me and made no attempt to not make it sound like the best thing that ever happened. It was just like, dude, did I tell you about when they put us all in the space suits and then
We walked around the shuttle and
Matt fell over and everyone laughed? Oh, you would have laughed, man. You especially would have loved that.
Oh yeah, you would have had a funny quip for that. You know?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep, that was probably the worst. I like, and there was I've never gotten to go back since.
Oh, we should sign you up for space camp.
camp,
Ooh, send me. I'll wear a GoPro the whole time.
It'll be your Christmas bonus.
I get
Space
nauseous.
camp.
I immediately get sick upon arriving.
The second you get there. It's just GoPro footage of you throwing up for 3 days.
Shivering.
And you were just sending you nothing but brownies covered in ketchup.
Exactly.
Mine is also field trip related, so this will be a weird one. When I was in camp in 4th grade, we did a talent show and we performed The Doors' song "People Are Strange." And me, of course, being the precocious alpha male I am, was cast as the lead of Jim Morrison for that show. And we had like a really dumb stoner hippie counselor, and he was like, "Hey man, when you finish, you should look out to the audience and say, 'Peace to apartheid.'" And I was like, okay, because I don't know what any of those words mean, and it is 1993.
And yeah, and he's an adult, so he should.
So I said it, and all of our white Jewish parents were like, oh, they're so cute and adorable, and story over. 4 months later, we take a class field trip to Albany, where one of my classmates' grandmother is an assemblywoman, and we get to sit in an assembly meeting of the New York State House of Representatives or whatever. And at the end, they line us up, and all of the like assembly people come over and like shake everyone's hand, right? And I am like 9 or 10 and can't not try to be a jackass with every I'm Bart Simpson in my mind, literally.
Yeah.
So every time someone will come over, I go, "Hey, smell you later," or like,
Don't have a cow.
"Eat my shorts," or like, "No."
Cowabunga, yeah.
And then I was going through my list of things to say to adults, and "Peace to Apartheid" popped up. So I went, "Hey, peace to apartheid," to the one black assembly member there that day.
Jesus.
And every adult in the room was like, "Hey, did that 9-year-old kid just say an incredibly nuanced racist slur to that man?" And at no point did
All
they
the air just gets sucked out of the room.
and at no point did they go like, "Oh, this must be a coincidence." They were like, "Get that fucking kid out of here."
Yeah.
So my parents had to drive up to Albany and pick me up. I wasn't allowed back in school for the rest of the year. We had to go to like psychological evaluations, and like they put me on medicine and all this shit.
Even just explaining, like someone at camp told me
I
to say
couldn't
this.
explain it because I said it to the one black guy,
Yeah,
and I was
but
in
you didn't
gifted.
know.
But I was in gifted classes and shit. So they would make the argument of like, he's smart and he knew, and he's
Oh, I
a
thought you were the other kind of gifted.
9-year-old racist. No, that was the problem. They're like,
He's a genius racist.
He's a super genius little racist.
We gotta nip this in the bud now because this kid's gonna be a
Legit,
megalomaniac.
and the reason, and look, I've gotten in way worse trouble, and I've been kicked out of school for way worse things. But it started off the train of me getting in trouble and not knowing why I just got in trouble, which was a long time for me. Of like everyone screaming my name and being like, "Well, I didn't do anything wrong, did I?"
You little devil.
That's
That's
a bad
my
one.
worst one. Yeah, it was a lot of
pretty
like,
bad.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
accidentally ruin an assembly for everyone, and then I'm have to send a letter home about me to every other parent in the high school. It was
Yep.
like, I was just being fun.
It's funny. I never got in trouble for doing like you two. Like it was always just like he's a jackass. It wasn't like he's starting fights.
I never got into a
or
single fight. I was
he picks
never
on people. He's violent to the teachers.
no.
Or he just says the wrong thing.
It was
you
like
watch-
he's really witty and
If
he
you've
makes
s-
everybody laugh.
If you've seen
too
the Chris
much.
Lilly show Jonah, I really related to that. And I don't know if you know that Mac, the character from Summer Heights High. It's an Australian.
Yeah, I love that, yeah.
So
Fucking
Jonah
he's-
was the spin-off show they did, and there's a moment where they're like, Jonah's explaining himself, and he's like, "Look, like I'm not trying to get in trouble. I'm just entertaining everyone. I don't understand.
I'm
why
just being funny, right?
I'm making this class better for everyone else." And I remember vividly being like, how can I stop talking? I am the best part of all of these people's days. That was not true.
That was
in
not
retrospect.
true.
But that's what you
Same.
thought.
One
Yeah.
girl in senior year, I was in an AP English class, and I got in trouble for something, and I was like, all right, will anyone raise their hand if I'm not like the most entertaining part of your school day? And this girl went, hey man, we all want to go to college and stuff and like hear about our futures, and you're just disruptive. You're not funny.
Yep.
You're just annoying.
That
and
was high school.
disruptive. Yeah, that was
that's high school. That
And
happens, and
and
that's
did
the turn. Is it's funny when you're younger, and then in high school, people start to
Did
care.
her speech work? Did you pipe down?
No, I just stopped showing up to that class, I feel like.
It
kind of worked. I mean,
you
yeah.
critique your behavior at
So
all.
yeah, the answer is yes, it worked.
It did work. I was
She
like, cool.
shamed him away.
It did work. I was like, great, this isn't for you guys anymore. I don't need to be here. And then I stopped going to high school. If I was like,
Microphone drop. Exit stage
exactly,
left.
Exactly. If you can't appreciate my fucking comedic talents, I'll take my shit to the park across the street and smoke pop on myself all day, and I'll show you.
I don't need any of you. I just need this lamp
And this term Warren,
this term, and
this bowl named Gandalf. Rest in peace, Gandalf.
all right. So, what's your worst school experience?
Okay, so
Mac?
this is also not technically a school thing. I went to the School of American Ballet. Oh, I know. I
it
was
says school in the title, so it counts.
exactly. No, it's ballet school, so it's not. But it's not like grade school or something. So there was this girl that was in class that she was the prettiest one. She was very pretty, and I was being like flirty as you can be when you're like 11, 12 years old. You know,
You're 12?
about 12. Yeah,
I thought ballet came way before movie stuff.
I did. I did that, and then when
You
I
went back?
I went back because I was doing the Nutcracker movie.
I was just gonna say, is this
That makes
pre or
sense.
post
Okay.
Nutcracker? So this is before
So
Nutcracker.
I had to do about like 8 or 9 months back at that school
Yeah.
again because I had to learn a whole other
After
part.
already all Home Alones and shit, you
Yes,
had to go
at-
back to ballet school.
Yes.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. It was one of those things where like it's gonna take 2 weeks to film. I'm like, oh, fucking great. Like the second Home Alone movie took like 4 or 5 months. This is like 2 weeks, great. Yeah, they forgot to mention the 9
months of
months.
school,
No,
yeah.
it's
Sean,
like 9 months. of
Mac,
school.
don't listen for a second. Sean, should me and you do like a rewatch of the? Is little Mac doing like hardcore ballet dancing
he's
in that
doing
Nutcracker
great
movie?
ballet.
I don't remember.
It's real. No,
Are
it's
you like
real
pirouetting
impressive.
and shit?
I do real ballet.
right,
yeah.
The
I mean, it's
whole
not even that
movie.
impressive, but I'm doing
All
it.
right.
Looking, yeah. So I'm flirting with the girl.
You do spins.
I do spins
You
and
hit.
everything.
You get on point.
No, I don't go on point. Dudes don't do point.
Sean, you crazy person.
But
Classic Sean.
Just flexing that I know about ballet.
So I was flirting with this girl. She was definitely the prettiest girl and all that stuff, and like being all flirty and everything. And
said that 3 times as if to justify little Mac wouldn't flirt with no uggos.
yeah, no. I'm just I'm trying to frame the story. All right. So we also now we're in all our costumes. We're kind of like doing dress rehearsals and all those kind of things. And these things are costumes, they're not clothing. So like the stitching isn't necessarily great. These are some old ass costumes. They've been around for like 20 years, kind of thing. And so me and her, we're kind of joking around all that stuff. And I jump up in the air. I do something where I jump down from something and I land like in like a frog squat kind of thing. Completely split my pants. Completely split my pants in front of this girl, and I'm just like, "Can you hand me that pillow over
Are you
there?"
in regular pants or are you in a leotard at
No,
this point?
I'm wearing the costume.
Oh,
so it's like very
yikes,
the
very
material's
tight.
stiff.
Do you have underwear on or no?
No, I had something there,
Like a dance
belt,
belt?
kind of
Modesty
thing.
patch?
Oof.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, like, can you hand me the pillow? And
It's
it's
a
like
dance belt. And why
and
do you both?
I almost
I get
like
why he
never
knows
talked to
it.
her again. Like like that's how like just like like it just split my pants in front of that girl I liked.
A dance belt is like a
it's like a thong
for men for when they're dancing. It like gives you like dick support basically, and then it goes up your ass.
It's like a cup for dancers.
Yeah.
but it's just made of cloth and there's no.
That
cup.
makes sense.
Yeah. So it just kind of holds your junk in place.
It's like-
so it doesn't leave creases in your like tights and things like that.
A lot of women wear sports bras when they dance, or like at least the top is tight enough. But like guys don't really have like tights are very unforgiving, you know.
Yeah. So there you go.
That sucks.
Yeah. So I split my pants in front of that girl I liked.
How embarrassing.
And
but you still were the Home Alone guy at that point, so that has to give you like extra points.
I know, but still, for some reason, I think the whole thing puttered out from there.
Ballet girl, she was like, I detest American cinema.
I'm not impressed.
We're about time to take a quick commercial break.
It's commercial break time.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I know we do commercial breaks here. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy this commercial break. Woohoo!
Hello, and welcome to Meditation Minute. I'm your guide, Louis Prada. Just stop kicking, relax, and let me kidnap you away from your worries. You've probably heard of chakras before, the energy centers of your being, of which there are 7 that run vertically down the length of our bodies. But you may not know that every once in a while they can get clogged with the refuse and waste byproducts of your spiritual energies. The chakra most prone to gunky buildup is your sacral chakra, located around the belly button. Today, with some simple exercises, we're going to clear out our sacral chakra so it's ready to be filled with positive energies once again. Start off by taking a deep breath in and sliding a Phillips head screwdriver deep into your belly button on the exhale. Okay, alright, it's in. Twist counterclockwise. Occasionally getting a little nice torque to the left and right to shimmy it open and yeah, okay, yeah, there you go, okay. That gunky pop lets you know you've opened yourself up, and now we can start rooting around in there to clear up the problem. Now you're going to want to grab your trusty plunger and put it right over the hole. Give it a few firm plunges. Okay, it seems my sacral chakra is a little backed up. It's a little stiff in there. So I'm gonna use a plumber's snake. I'm gonna feed the tube in, and then once it's in there nice and firm, I'm gonna just turn it on and okay. It's almost like the last little bit of jelly at the bottom of the squeeze bottle, and you have to like scrape it to get it moving. Okay, just remove that out of there. Okay, take the plunger, put it right back over, plunge it until the pressure reaches its peak, and then we release. Yeah, and there you go. The sacral chakra is unblocked. I think I should have laid down some towels. I am definitely not getting back the deposit in this apartment. Anyway, I hope this guided chakra gunk removal tutorial has brought you the serenity you seek. My name is Louis Prada, and this has been Meditation Minute. Namaste.
So you guys want to do drugs next?
Yes.
Always.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you mean the category?
Wait, the mics are hot. So yeah, no. The next category is worst drug experiences. So yeah, I think it's actually a good transition from school to drugs because I think those two things are intrinsically linked. Yeah. Yeah, they're intrinsically linked.
I'll start.
You want to start? Yeah.
My third worst weed experience or worst drug experience was my first weed experience. I love weed now, but the first time I smoked it, I did not have a good reaction. It made me feel it made me feel like really dizzy, and I got like real nauseous, and then like just wanted to go to sleep but couldn't because I was at like a party.
And when your
like,
eyes closed, the room was spinning, kind of thing.
yeah, and like I couldn't. It was one of those things, you know, like when you start to have a bad experience, then you just want it to be over, but then it seems like it's going on forever. So it was one of those like I couldn't make it stop. It's never gonna end feelings, and I hated it. And it took like a year and a half before I would try it again. And the second time I did it, I felt great. So I don't know what.
Yeah.
Like second time I smoked, I like got super high, watched a movie, ate a bunch of Taco Bell.
Was the first time at space camp?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was it. And so, yeah, it was just, you were also at a party too. So you're experiencing this in front of everybody.
Yeah, and it was like embarrassing, you know,
Yeah.
like, and people
Because you
like,
want to be able to hang.
because you want to be cool, and people are like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just want to sit in this corner and close my eyes
and rock back and forth.
So my number 3 is kind of embarrassing, and it's not even like the craziest experience. It's just the most recent one I can remember, and you were actually there for it, but not directly next to me. So, at WrestleMania in New Orleans, I was like, "Oh great, I love wrestling and I love weed, so naturally I'm gonna bring my weed pen into WrestleMania and like get high during WrestleMania because I don't drink and like yeah,
it's a 7-hour show.
yeah.
Too.
So at one point, and I was pretty good about, and I'm sitting like second row, so I'm doing pretty good job about like holding in all my hits and not letting anyone. There's like kids around, so I was being very careful. And at one point, something happens when you're trying to hold weed vape in, where every once in a while your body just goes like, no, the opposite of what you want.
It's like lungs vomiting.
Yeah.
And like fucking cloud came out of my mouth a little bit, and no one even said anything. But then I look to my left, and again, I'm like second row, so there's some paranoia in general, and I see 2 security guards like staring at me. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck is going on right now? And then one of them walks over and he's like, "Can I see your ticket?" And I'm like, "Yes." And I hand him my ticket and he looks at it and he gives me a dirty look and he walks away. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And like 5 minutes later, he comes back with a different security guard and they're like, "Sir, we need to see your ticket again." And I was like, okay. And I hand it back to them and they like talk to each other for a second and they give me a dirty look again. And they back away. And in my mind, I'm like, okay. They saw me get high, and they're like, who the fuck is this guy second row at WrestleMania getting high? Now, they don't come back and ask me a third time, but for the next 3 hours of that show,
It just ruined.
everyone in the audience is a security guard.
Staring at
And
you.
I'm like as sunk down low in my seat. And I remember vaguely Nakamura had a match or something, but I just wasn't paying attention. I was like shaking and just like desperately begging not to get kicked out of fucking WrestleMania.
Yeah. How embarrassed you were with like Mac and whoever.
And
It's
whoever
like,
the
yeah.
fuck I was with, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to incriminate anyone except Mac.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And it was just like everyone else around me was having fun and being like, "Woo, pile driver, right?"
Yeah,
and I was
woohoo,
like,
suplex.
yeah, don't bring attention to us. I was like, it was just
down.
I went into like paranoia fucking
That happens.
city, and
Yeah.
also there are 80,000 people behind me.
Something like that. Yeah, it was.
Because it's not like I'm in the throng. From where I'm sitting second row, there's a row and there's a ring, and I'm
But
like,
there's a zillion people.
so every
behind
time
you.
I turn around, I go, they all know. And it was a lot of them to know.
That happened to me at Disney once. I tried to hit a weed pen, and I definitely know someone saw me, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get kicked out of Disney!"
Dude, I did that in the line to the Cars ride, and I became so paranoid that I was convinced that there were Disney cops after me.
Yes.
So as soon as I got off the ride, I did like some jukes and shit, and I like went left and faked right, and like tried to hide in the store.
Like lose him in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Good times. Good
Drugs.
times. Drugs. Good times. The last time I did LSD. Like I did it. I tried it like when I was like 14.
Okay.
And then I did it like about 4 times in 2 weeks. Like that's how much I enjoyed it. Yeah. And the last time I did it, I was like, okay, this is enough. Because I was that guy who was.
What were you? What was the circumstance?
It was at my place in New York.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think like people were kind of out of town. Like or my friends were in town, but like the family's out of town. And I just remember turning into the most paranoid, annoying person ever. Like I could see myself from the outside, like afterward, where it's like I kept on shushing everybody, and I kept on like it's like and we'd like walk down the hallway to do something like shh, the neighbors might hear it, but constantly, and I felt like even in the moment I'm like I'm a fucking dick right now. It's like and like I never did
I'm
LSD
being too
again.
much.
I'm being too much. Like I'm feeling everything way too much, and what I'm feeling right now is not conducive to a party situation. I just remember shushing people, and I hate shushing people, and I hate being shushed. And I turned into that fucking guy, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? It was one of those things where it was like just I was harshing everyone's mellow kind of thing, and it was just
you turned into number 2 on my list, which was this girl Stacy, who we took acid together, and she had never done it before, and then she proceeded to have the worst trip of her life, which subsequently, if you're the only other person there, becomes the worst trip of your life, because you're just babysitting someone who's like every 5 minutes, like she literally wouldn't get off of the bed. We were sitting on a bed in my dorm room in college for 5.5 hours.
Did you get to the point where you were like, hey, shut the fuck up, I don't care?
Yes.
Because that's happened to me.
Yes,
where
it got
I was
to the
on
point.
LSD
Yes,
with
it
a
got
bunch
to
of
the point where I
people.
was like, dude, you're fucking like I yelled. I was like, you're
baby.
fine.
Yeah.
I was like, you're freaking out, and there's nothing to freak out about. We're fine. We've been in this room for 5 hours, and nothing has fucking happened.
Yeah, but
She's
have
like,
you seen that?
"No."
But have you seen that movie Strange Days? That was fucking crazy.
Well, what if I'm stuck in this forever? It was one of those. It was like, what if I'm stuck forever? And it was like, oh, it was so frustrating. And I kept going like, let's take a walk. Because I was also high, and I just wanted to like enjoy it. I wanted to go outside and walk around and look at weird shit.
And you got
like,
this weird anchor around your neck.
Oh, it was it was like the worst. That was definitely my worst.
And it's just the two of you too?
It was just the two of us because I was sort
so
of dating her.
there's no deflecting, no anything like that?
No, I was sort of dating her, and she was like, and like my friend group at the time been doing it a lot, and she was like, well, I want to try it, but I want to be just like alone and just you and I trust you. I was like, sure, thinking like,
what could go wrong?
it'll be fun. Maybe we'll fuck. I had never had sex on acid, and I was like, maybe I'll have sex. What would that be like?
Woot.
Which I subsequently had done, and it's awful. It's not a good experience. Sex on acid does not work well. It's not.
My number 2 actually mirrors your number 3, Sean, oddly enough. My number 2 is the first time I ever did anything, and I was 14 years old. I think I might have told this a little bit, and I been offered pot a few times, like the summer leading up, and every time I was like, no way. I don't like doing illegal things. It still freaks me out.
Yeah.
Right? So I asked my parents, I was like, hey, do you think I should try pot? And they were like, let's talk to your therapist about this.
But they smoke weed.
I didn't know at that point.
you didn't know.
But still, the reaction is to call your therapist and not talk to you directly about
my
it.
parents,
Make the decision as his parents.
Me, my parents, and my therapist got together, and we talked about if I should smoke weed, and the answer turned out to be sure. So my parents...
Even the therapist was like, "There's nothing we
My
can do."
parents gave me $20 in cash and dropped me off at an open house party where I was meeting someone to buy a gram of weed and smoke weed for my first time. My parents knew, and I got to the party, and I was like, give me my weed, and some dude's like, oh, we should smoke your weed, and he obviously smoked like all of it right away.
Yeah.
But I packed a bong, and I smoked a bong, and they started going, clear it, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
Did you drink the bong one?
No, I just didn't clear.
You didn't like suck all the rest of the
yeah,
smoke
I know.
out,
I'm
and
just
they're
saying.
mad.
Then if you don't know what it is, you're like, okay. And you
I was like, all right, pot smoke number 1, I'm alive. All right, I'm an adult. Someone was like, hey, do you want to do a keg stand? I went, I've never heard of that either or drinking alcohol, but I'm probably good at it. And I did like a 26-second keg stand. And by the time my feet touched the ground, I was in hell and everyone was the devil. I kept falling in bushes or purposely crawling in them. It had like dirt all over me. With dirt all over me and crying, I would walk up to every girl at the party. And again, we were middle school into high school, so I didn't know a lot of these girls. And I would go, hi, my name is Matt Cohen. Do you want to hook up with me? No takers, oddly enough.
Wait.
And that night ended with me getting into the back of a cop car, thinking it was a cab, and asking them to take me to the diner. To which the cops were like, hey, can someone get this, please? And a bunch of people just grabbed me out of the cop car. Like, fully opened the back of a cop car, sat down inside, and was like, diner, please.
Alcohol.
Oh, by the way, but here's
a million times worse than drugs.
Here's the caveat, though. So you smoked pot for the first time, and you had a nightmarish experience, and you were like, I'm not doing this for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I got to do this tomorrow because I'm obviously not good at it.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I smoked pot the next day.
But yeah, I have to practice.
It doesn't sound like your problem was the pot. It sounds like your problem
It was
the
the
keg
combination.
stand.
But I've always found this with drugs and alcohol. When people do a thing and they go like, well, that wasn't a good experience for me, my rationale has always been like, I'm not good at doing this drug yet, and I need to get better at it.
Exactly. Yet is
I've
the
yet
key
to
word.
meet a drug that's defeated me.
Yeah.
Not that I do drugs anymore or haven't a long time, but that was always my mentality.
Yeah.
Was like, okay, so pot freaked me out. That means I need to practice smoking pot every day.
So I get better at it.
As opposed to rationally being
You're
like,
being like, oh, that was scary, and I'm afraid now.
Yep,
And
no,
It wasn't until like 40 people I knew were all like, dude, it's
no, I'm a real
fine.
fucking addict. I
Yeah.
was like, why did that not go well for me?
Yeah. Everyone else seems to be doing really well.
I want to be a guy who smokes pot.
So, my number 2 is another psychedelic, is mushrooms. It's actually, again, the last time I did mushrooms. I was just about to turn 30, and I was in Amsterdam by myself, and I went to like the place that sell the mushrooms.
Those are not normal mushrooms.
Well, I know, because they're like soft.
Truffles, they're wet.
Yes, they're like
they're a
exactly.
nightmare.
Because I asked them, I said, I want something mild. I haven't done this in a couple of years, but like, winter and Rome, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they gave me like this like bag and said, oh, it's soft. Go ahead and you can just take like, I don't know, like half the bag, maybe about 3/4. And I was like, all right. So I'm at lunch. And I figure out do it on a full stomach. I take like just 2 bulbs, 2 little like macadamia nut sized bulbs.
Yep. Because anyone tells you do half the bag is fucking out of their mind.
Exactly. No, I'll take like 1. So it only like because usually it takes about 45 minutes to hit or something like that. This thing took about 15 minutes, and it hit me fucking hard, like to the point where I was like, not only was it like a check please, I was like check please,
Yep.
like and I had to walk back to my hotel and all that stuff. There's not many times in my drug using experience where I don't remember what I did. I'll kind of it might be a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
But like I don't remember chunks. But what I did wake up to was the fact that I wrote a 15-page email to everybody in my email contact list.
No.
And you sent it?
And I sent it, and I didn't BCC everybody. Like it was everybody.
Everyone got sent to
Everybody
What
got
did the
sent.
email say?
You know what? I haven't even read it.
Do you have it still? In your
I probably still have it. Yes.
Let's read it now.
Yeah. And so,
dramatic reading.
Live on the air.
no, I mean, I definitely got a couple of like, replies like, "Hey, dude, you okay?" Like, definitely got a couple of those, but it was just like,
Yeah, because it had to just be rambling, like nonsense,
well,
right?
like, here's what I'm doing. Like,
Right.
like, woo, I'm in Amsterdam. Like, I think it was that kind of thing. It was a letter home, but it was also like literally like it was like the pit boss. It goes over like to my best friend to like the pit boss at the Palms Hotel in Vegas. I mean, it was fucking everybody.
Anyone you would ever emailed.
I literally had the same. So I did the same thing in Amsterdam a couple summers ago, where I was like, "Oh, I love mushrooms," and I was like, "Hey, I'm a mushroom pro," and the guy was like, "Cool, eat the whole thing," and I was like, "That seems sketchy. I'm gonna try a quarter of this and go for a bike ride to Edam," and then 20 minutes into my bike ride, I literally lost all concept of what I was as a human, and I was like, "Oh no, there are cows everywhere, and I don't feel good," and it was a fucking nightmare.
Yes.
Fuck those mushrooms.
Yeah, I know.
forever.
Yeah, no. Last time I did mushrooms, and I'm good. I'm good for the rest of my life now. Yeah.
You want some mushrooms?
Let's go. Let's go time, guys.
My number 1 is mushrooms. So,
Yeah,
it was
hold
same
on,
thing.
audience. I don't think you saw the 1,000-mile stare, like the 1,000-yard stare.
It
in
was
his
the
eyes.
same. It was the same experience, though. It's like,
Done mushrooms with you though, right?
yeah.
Oh, okay. You didn't stop doing them.
No,
Oh,
I just had like that. My number 1 experience, like worst drug experience, was a bad mushroom trip. There's nothing like a bad mushroom trip.
Yep.
Like,
At least it's shorter than the LSD trips.
yes.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, everyone always told me in the early days of like trying drugs, like, oh, LSD's way harder, way worse.
Mushrooms are way more intense than LSD.
Way more intense.
Way more intense.
I don't know what it is, but man, it was me and a couple of friends, and we went to this girl's house. I think it was even Halloween, and then we all ended up taking mushrooms.
Never mind. Cut this out if you want. We went to this girl's house. She was gonna murder her mom or something.
She's gonna kill her mom.
It was at
I don't
space
know what
camp.
Hey, it was a real nightmare. What if my bad trip was just I was a witness and I didn't
Your
realize?
girlfriend murdering her mom.
And this girl just started
I can't
stabbing
believe-
her
it's
mother.
not funny because it's real.
I mean, it's not funny for the mom.
It's still, yeah, exactly. It's funny to us.
So go on.
So yeah, so we went to this house and this is such a bad story. We went to this house and everyone took mushrooms, and I had taken mushrooms at that point, so I was like, whatever. I mean, I knew, like 2-3 caps, maybe a stem, and you're good to go. And I don't know what happened, but it was just like I felt awful. Like, I just felt every bad thought I'd ever had in my life came flooding back into my brain, and like everyone was against me, and like I was sure that none of the people there liked me. And then one of my friends decided he was also having a bad trip and decided he wanted to go home early. And my other friend, a third friend with us, was like, cool, I'll drive us home. And was definitely took mushrooms at the same time as us. Like 100% took mushrooms at the same time as us. And was just like, no, I'm fine to drive. And no one stopped him. And we, like, if I didn't go, I wouldn't have had a way home. So, like, we all got in the car, and then, like...
It's not, like, illegal to drive on mushrooms, though, right?
Wow.
As long as it's not booze, you guys did fine,
like,
right?
It's, like, already in the
totally.
midst of a bad trip. Like, that 15-minute drive felt like 5 hours, and I felt like we were going to die every 5 seconds. I kept, like, slamming the brake with my own foot.
You weren't driving?
Nope.
But you
like my foot kept going like
trying to will him.
Yeah,
into,
trying to will him to drive
breaking.
slower, or like get away from someone, or like at one point we pulled up and there was like a cop car, 4 or 5 cars behind us, and like we all saw it, and then we all got paranoid, and then the light turned green and he didn't go anywhere. And then I started screaming, "Go, go, go!" And then he like was like, "Don't yell!" And I was like, "But just drive!" And then like the cop car passed us, and they had already been like 4 cars behind. And then he was like, "Oh no, it's the cop car." And then he made a right-hand turn for no reason. And it wasn't the right way, and it extended the trip by another 10 minutes. It was awful.
It was just a series of.
It was talking about it makes me feel like sweaty.
I can see.
Like, it makes me not feel good. It was a bad experience. Don't drive high, ladies and gentlemen.
My number one
don't
will-
let your friend
Don't
drive
let someone
high
else
while you're
drive
high.
high.
My
yeah.
number one will also be a cautionary tale. Don't huff computer cleaner.
This is my favorite Matt Cohen story.
There was a moment there back in the day where I was partaking in dusters every once in a while, and one day in particular, I had big eyes, let's say, and I did too many in a row, and I fainted and knocked out 3 of my teeth, and like scarred up my face and shit.
Why not just do whippets like a normal person?
Yeah.
Why like
Couldn't
why
get
just
whippets.
Yeah.
Whippets are illegal. Dusters they sell at Office Depot.
I thought you had like an office cleaner guy.
whippets aren't illegal? No, they're not.
Where can you buy whippets?
At any
Yeah.
smoke shop.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
I bought
crack-
whippets
yeah.
3 weeks
maybe
ago.
not on Long Island.
I know.
Oh, maybe.
I was actually never really into whippets that much.
Yeah.
But like, I still have like metal crackers
Yeah.
in my house.
Same.
And stuff like that.
Right now.
Yeah. No, it's right
got
here.
one over there.
Right here in my pocket.
So the cautionary tale is don't do nitrous oxide at all. And
Probably not.
To be fair, the one drug I never repeated in my life
Was dusters.
was nitrous or dusters. Since I'm 15, I've been to a million concerts where everyone's doing balloons.
Now, did you
Yeah.
just fall straight forward?
Oh yeah,
Just,
I
just
don't
like
remember.
timber.
I fainted, but yeah, must have timbered straight onto my face.
Do you think you
Jeez.
just did? You just
Were you doing
did
it
too much,
solo?
obviously.
No, there were 2 people with me, and they left me for dead.
There's blood coming out of your mouth on a sidewalk
so
or
here is
something.
the interesting anecdote about this whole story. I was in 11th grade, and at that time, I was not doing any work in school, failing every class, and playing Pokemon all the time. So like everyone in the school,
Badass.
when you thought, thank you, buddy. When people named like, what's Matt Cohen's accessory in his action figure? It would be like a neon green Game Boy because I was always playing
Right,
Pokemon.
right.
So when I fell on my face and got rushed to the nurse's office and the principal came in and there was a whole big deal, I was able to very quickly go like, I fell playing Pokemon. I wasn't paying attention and I tripped in a crack in the sidewalk. And they were all like,
And they all bought it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cohen.
Sure.
Always blaming Pokemon.
They bought it. My parents bought it so much so that like a few years ago, my parents were like, "Remember the time you fell playing Pokemon?" And I was like, "Say what, Mom and Dad?"
Did you forget that was your excuse?
No, I just assumed that at some point in the intervening like 17 years, they
that
realized.
it would have
They
came up
told them.
casually.
Especially because I got fired from a job for doing dusters like a month later.
Did you tell them?
They knew that all.
No, I
you
mean,
said
at
you
that
never-
point, did you tell them I didn't fall playing Game Boy?
No, because that was still a deep dark secret.
Even
Yeah, but-
17 years later.
I was committed to that, and I'll never forget. My principal's his name was Dr. Jorge Schneider. He was a Cuban Jew, and he walked into the nurse's office and he went, "His eyes are quite dilated," and I was like, "Yeah, because I'm scared." I was just and
Fight or flight, bro.
it turns out that everyone knew though, because like I had a health teacher bring it up once in class to talk shit to me. That was one time I almost got. Yeah, we were doing our drugs unit, and he said, Some people even huff computer cleaner. Isn't that right, Mr. Cohen? And I just got up and I flipped my fucking I just got up and immediately
What the fuck are you talking about?
dude. Like flipped out.
How dare you?
Yes, flipped out more than I, because it was my secret. I wasn't proud of it.
Wildest accusation I've ever heard.
I object.
I'll have you know, sir, I was trying to catch a weedle.
Yeah, exactly. That's your defense.
But yes, like you nailed it immediately because there was such shame and embarrassment.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool. Like everyone kind of promised not to talk about it again.
Yep.
The reason I have 3 fake front teeth.
Because you're gonna throw fucking desks at them if you
Yeah, I
if
mean,
they
it was
did.
just it was a sensitive subject. Well, here's one more, and I hate to keep talking me stories, but guys, after I woke up from fainting, I didn't fucking know I had fainted. I was doing a duster, and then I was walking into the cafeteria. I don't remember the intervening.
But you were covered in blood.
I didn't realize until I walked in the cafeteria and everyone started screaming, covered in fucking blood. And I was like, what's behind me? And they were like, no,
it's
And
you.
a teacher walked up and was like, Matt, you need to go to the nurse's office right now. And I was like, why? And they were like, you're missing a bunch of teeth. And I went, huh?
I can't feel my mouth.
Yeah. So that was that fun story.
What teeth and why are you going wah 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 wah?
Jeez.
Don't do dusters. I hope I didn't teach anyone the concept of dusters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some 15-year-old kid is listening to this
I'm
podcast.
like, I can do what?
Wait, Office Depot. What?
You said Office Depot? He's going to go to Office Depot and be like, excuse me, may I buy some dusters?
I want the thing that Cohen broke his teeth on. What's your number one?
This one's pretty easy for me. It's when I got arrested. When I got arrested in Oklahoma fucking city.
It's a bad experience.
Driving cross country, I had a big old bag of pot and a nice little sack of a Klonopin, which I don't even know what the
Were
fuck
they not
are.
in a pill bottle? Were they literally in a Ziploc bag?
No, they were in a Ziploc bag.
Oh, well, that's your problem, buddy.
Well, my buddy like literally just handed me a bunch of them. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna be out of town for a while. You're driving cross country.
Yeah, you need some
Here's-"
Klonopin up
I'm
your
just like,
sleeve.
"Cool."
A baggie of Klonopin.
Sure.
Yeah, no, honestly,
Why not?
I'd taken one once before, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, honestly,
They're not hardcore.
It's when it was mellow. It helped me sleep. It was fine, like kind of thing." But
Were you
man,
speeding or something? How did?
nope. All right, so here's what it is. I was driving with my buddy. We were driving cross country, and we get pulled over, and the cop, he's doing this whole thing with my buddy. He's the one driving, and at the very, very, very end, he goes, "Oh, He recognizes me. Oh, you're the Home Alone kid or whatever. He's like, "Can I see your ID?" And I'm like, "Oh, all right, fine. Like there it is." He's like, "Oh, well, what do you know?" Boom, we leave. And we just got pulled over for speeding, but pretty much we got pulled over for having New York plates in Oklahoma.
Yeah, sure.
Is really
Yeah.
what it was. You aren't from around
What
here.
are you doing
Who are
here?
these guys? What are they
Yeah,
doing?
you
who
aren't
are
from
these
around
guys?
here, are you? So, yeah, and so we drove about another 5 miles down the road, and then boom, we get pulled over by 2 more cop cars. And they don't even approach the car. They tell my buddy who's sitting next to me to get out. And next thing you know, he's sitting in the back of a patrol car for like fucking 10 minutes and all this stuff. And then
Were you smoking in the car?
Nope. It was like in my bag at the bottom
That's
of my
illegal.
bag.
Search and see. What was their...
No,
First
because
cop
no.
have anything to do with the second 2 cops?
Well, not on the radio. And we tried to subpoena like their phone records because that's the thing. It's like he's smart enough not to like do
have
it
no
over the
cause to
public kind of
search.
thing.
Yeah.
But no, what it was my buddy. My buddy, because they were grilling him about like things or whatever. And even he said, the first question out of their mouth was, "Is that who we think it is in the car?" It was literally the first thing out of their mouth. Yeah. So they started like shaking him down a little bit, and then and so next thing you know, they're like, "Excuse me, can you step out of the car?" After about like fucking 10 minutes. So I get out of the car and I turned to my buddy Brett, and he's like white as a ghost. He's the one who was driving, and I was like, because they're going to search the car. I go, "You're letting them search the car?" He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't know.
And he was like,
what probable cause? Why?
But also, he
Fuck
goes,
off.
one of them was holding a screwdriver. And I go, "I don't know what the fuck that means." What does that mean? He's going to take the car apart, or is he going to stab you with it? I don't know what. And so, yeah, no, next thing you know, I get arrested, and, it's, got to explain myself to the girlfriend and all that
Sure.
kind of fun stuff, yeah.
Well, and then half the media goes like, Macaulay Culkin's a heroin addict who was arrested for murdering children.
It was the slowest news day ever because it was all over
Yep.
the fucking place. And one of the best parts is I'm pretty sure it was the same day. If not, it was the same like weekend. Eddie Furlong got arrested.
No.
For I think
His thunder.
no, he was I think it was he tried to free lobsters at a grocery store. Like he literally overturned a lobster tank at a grocery store.
That'll free them. They love to live in the parking lot
Fight
of
the
a restaurant.
power, Eddie Furlong.
I have to Google this and make sure, but I'm pretty sure it was the same weekend. Yeah. No, Eddie Furlong's still alive.
Okay. I was trying to be sensitive about that.
No, no, rumor has it he's gonna show up in the new Terminator movie.
Oh, okay. It's John Connor.
Yeah,
He's alive.
yeah.
So
Okay, Brad Renfro. Okay.
yeah.
Rest in peace, Brad Renfro.
Yeah, Red Renfro.
That's what I was
R.I.P.
thinking of.
Brad
Yes.
Renfro. Yeah.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah,
that'll
but
put you
knock
off
on
it.
wood, I don't have
No.
any cop shit. That's your only cop thing.
That's
in your
my
life,
only cop
right?
thing. And now when I was like doing stuff with my bands or anytime I like, do stuff in
Canada.
Canada,
Yeah,
man,
it gives you a hard time.
I'd have to leave an hour earlier than all the other bands I was touring with because they'd pull me out of fucking line. And pull
They're
the whole
so
band out of
fucking
line.
great up there.
Yeah, no, just crossing that fucking border. I swear to God, the last time I was like touring there, they said, "When are you coming back?" And I said, "Fucking never." Like seriously, it's like I don't want to work
I hate
visa
it here.
here. No, I mean I love the people. It's lovely. It's a great country. All that kind of fun stuff. But the way I'm not the only person. I have a lot of friends that are in bands, and look, they're fucking bands. There's at least one person who has something
Weed
on their
at the
record,
very minimum.
something on their record,
Yeah.
kind of thing, and it takes for fucking ever. And
sucks.
stuff,
I like that
and,
you had to wait till the end of that traffic stop for the guy to be like, "Hey, are you?" The first words out of my mouth would have been like, "Sorry, officer, I was driving because I didn't want to be home alone."
Wink.
That's right. It's me. Don't arrest me.
Yeah, please don't arrest me.
Well, no, it
bring
turns
you
out
joy.
that could only make it
No,
worse.
honestly, it made it
We're
worse.
better off if he
It
was
made
not
it
worse.
Oklahoma, I would
Because my
imagine.
only drug cop story is a friend of mine and I were like,
You got pulled over with Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
no, it was my friend Devin Sawa and I. No, it was my buddy and I went to go see a movie and we pulled around the back of the movie theater where they had a parking lot and we parked and we were just like, he had bought a beer and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill this beer once we park." And I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna smoke a bowl and then we'll go see the movie."
movie?
And I don't remember.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No,
Orange County.
No, wait.
Stealing Harvard.
That era. It would have been that era. It would have been
okay.
Orange County era. And
One night at McCool's.
I'm smoking a bowl. I'm literally lighting a bowl, and he's like got the beer can up to his lips, and then there's just a knock on the window, and we were like, "Oh no!" I mean, we both look, and there's a cop, and he's like, "Can you get out of the car now?" And we didn't get arrested. We ended up not getting arrested.
No.
because
ticket for beer on a beach.
because I wasn't probably a celebrity. There was nothing to do. The guy was like, "Who did you buy this from?" And I was like, "I know this guy James, and he lives with his grandma, and he sold it to
Give
me."
you his address.
Yeah, and I was like,
No.
"You could go arrest him and his grandma right now."
My lawyer told me this during this thing was the answer is always I just found it.
I just found it.
I just found it.
answer.
Yeah. That's
a good answer.
that's what high-powered lawyers would tell you. It's actually time for another break. So yeah, we're gonna do that real quick.
Here we go.
All right, yeah. Here
Some
we go.
dynamic ads.
Yeah, dynamic.
Dynamically.
And we're back.
Man, I'm gonna buy whatever that is thing you just talked about.
Yep.
Thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
So good.
I'd buy one of those too.
You're so good at it.
That last product.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man, give me one. And that promo code.
Whatever it was probably worth it.
Totally memorable.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you spell it?
BUNNY.
Is it still always bunny?
It's always
Yeah,
funny.
usually
Yeah,
it's
for the most part.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes they're weird. How did this get made? This promo. It's always like hijinks.
Yeah.
Something-
Or what's up, jerk? Sometimes it's jerks.
Weird, man.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. We should do a podcast about other podcast promo codes. Ooh, break it down every week.
Favorite list of favorite promo codes.
It's usually just gonna be the name of the podcast in
It
some
usually-
form or another. Yeah.
It usually is.
For
What
some
is
reason,
Bang Bang? Is that Bang Bang?
Yeah,
Usually
At
Bang Bang.
checkout?
Yeah,
CBB,
for some
or
reason,
CBB.
for some reason, it seems like that idea is going to get stale pretty quickly. I don't really see it having legs, guys.
Probably not.
They're still making This American Life. It's like, how much more do we need?
Oh yeah,
That's why we can't get a podcast on the air.
that should be our promo code. This American Life from now
Ira
on.
Glass.
promo code NPR.
All right, so we have one last category. This is worst dating experiences.
Yeah.
So we're all dating people.
Sure.
No, we've dated rather, or
Yeah,
at least
sure.
we've been with people.
We should adjust. We should say we're defining dating by interacting with
the opposite
members
sex.
of the opposite sex in
Or
some type of intimate
or the
setting.
same sex.
Or same sex. Well,
But
for
just-
us, it's
yes.
opposite sex.
Yes, we're all hetero here,
Yeah.
as far as we know.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of boring cis males.
I'm Jewish. That's something. It's like a minority. Take it away, Sean.
Yeah. What's one of your worst?
The number 3 worst experience is one time I went to Vegas with a girl that I had only just started dating, and we were in an elevator at the Stratosphere because she wanted to go to the top and she wanted to do the bungee off, and I farted, real quiet and silent, but it was awful. and there was no one else in the elevator. There was no one to blame it on. Like she definitely knew. Like there was no. And then like when the elevator doors opened, it was like awkward and quiet. And then we never dated again after that weekend.
It was just
That was the reason you broke up?
I do. I really do. Because the rest of the weekend was like just kind of weird, and she was like super standoffish and like seemed like disinterested, and like it was a bad time. And I really think it was because of that. I think it was like, I don't know what I was supposed to do though. It's not like I wanted. It's not like I was like, hey babe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, okay, you can. I guess
What
you
if
can
her
kind
father was killed by a fart?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was.
How insensitive of you. Trigger warning.
Yeah. It was a bummer. Yeah, so that was it. And then we never really talked again. She like she ghosted me basically.
It's the elevator goes up. There's not like floors there, so it's not like, oh, like, you know, it could have been a floor that we passed or something like that. It's literally just a tube.
It was just the two of us got in and went all the way up, and like less than halfway through the ride, I was like, oh, I can't. Oh no, it's gonna. And then I was like, oh, it's not loud. That's great. And then like 15 seconds later, I was like, oh,
An SBD
Relationship over.
sucks. Yeah,
Well, you should have
it
turned to her
sucks.
and said, "Did you fart?"
I should have.
And she would have gone, "No." He goes,
This
"Oh,
hotel's
because
not
I
horrible."
did."
I think now if I had tried, I
Old
think part of my
elevators.
mistake was not saying anything.
Yeah.
Was just I just
That's why it got awkward.
it got really
Yeah,
awkward
yeah.
because then I didn't want to say anything, and like and then I definitely made it weird.
Well, but here's the thing: is that it might be the other way around. Maybe she also farted,
We canceled each other out.
and you guys canceled each other out. Like she was the only reason why she ghosted you is because she was like, "Oh my god, I farted in front of him," and he just knew, and he just knew.
We both just had like a really upsetting lunch before we got in that
exactly.
elevator.
Yeah.
That's
You
nice.
guys
That's
both
a
went-
nice, comforting.
Yeah,
thought.
you guys both went to Johnny Rockets beforehand or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't think that's what it was. I hope so.
Yeah, but now you just revealed it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
this whole time she might have been thinking that it was her fart.
Imagine I
Probably
get I get a
drove you
text
away,
and
you
it's
know?
like I listened to your podcast and I farted too. It was awful.
So, all right, Cohen.
My number 3, I haven't really dated much, so like this is based on the few dating experiences I've had. I met this girl I really dug. She was like a FedEx delivery girl or something, and I was like, hey, we should go on a date, and she was like, sure. But first, you have to defeat my 7 evil exes. And there were like these Japanese twins who were like DJs, and like one guy looked like Captain
This is
America.
just Scott Pilgrim.
Wait, hang on.
All right,
is just
Mac, you're
Scott.
number 3.
Yeah, of course I freaking remember this. My brother's in the movie.
All right.
I didn't mention that.
And my best friend was Kieran Cole.
all right,
I
it was-
know.
I should say-
I was waiting for you to get to the best
I
friend.
didn't think of
the
that. That
roommate.
doesn't count. I'll skip to my number 2. I was dating this woman who was an heir to this family called the Roys, and they were all fighting about who would take over the father.
Oh God, Jesus.
I'm
So
kidding.
you're doing
all
this.
of my dating experiences are Kieran movies.
You're the best. You're the worst and the best.
What's your number 2?
Oh no, I'm at number 3.
Your number 3.
This one's going to be really brief.
Yeah.
When I was 15, I asked Christina Ricci out on a date, and she said no.
Aw.
Yeah.
Were you like, you go on a date? No.
No, she was. I don't really do the dating thing. Gotcha. There you
What
go.
does that mean?
Well,
You're like,
just
do you
being-
want to fuck?
She was being
Where are you going?
She was politely saying no.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
you go. Like I said, it's brief because there's
All
not
right.
much of the. Because we were actually friendly. We went to school together and stuff like that. But like,
did you do it at school? Was that
No,
like,
I didn't. No, I did it over the phone.
You called her?
Yeah.
Specifically to ask her out?
Yeah.
And hard no.
No. Yeah. Exactly. So
Who needs her?
Listen, I look. Pan Am was a fine show. So
What a swipe!
What a mental math.
Wow! What a swipe!
no,
right.
no. I said
We all love Zelda.
yeah. No. I'm sure she's great. I haven't talked to her in years.
Zelda.
Clearly, yeah, she was on that Zelda Fitzgerald show on Amazon.
Oh.
She played Zelda Fitzgerald.
Jesus. All right.
I follow her career very closely.
Yeah.
She also wouldn't date me, but mostly because I didn't know her. And when I asked Wednesday Addams to marry me, the TV just changed to a new scene. It's bullshit. My number 2 experience also is pretty short. I went on a Tinder date, and at the end of the date, I mentioned having a second date, and she said, "This wasn't a date."
You met on Tinder?
This is not a date.
This wasn't a date.
So it went well.
And I was like, oh, I was like, I'm sorry. Like, and she was like, well, it's just like, I don't know why you assumed it was a date. And I was like, well, we met on a dating app. She's like, no, we met on an app that like you're supposed to meet people and decide if you want to date them. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I thought I decided when I swiped on your picture there. Like,
Yeah. I thought when I bought you a salad with dressing on the side that this might actually kind of be a date for a second.
Like Tinder chatted back and forth about like, you know, get to know you shit. And then I was like, would you like to go out sometime and get food? And she was like, yeah, let's grab dinner. Oh, great. Cool. Bought the dinner, walked her out to her car and was like, I'd love to do this again. We should go out on another date. And she was like,
this is not a date.
Wasn't a date. It was really nice. She said it nicely. She was like, oh, this wasn't a date. I was like, oh, silly me. Goodbye forever.
Yeah,
and then and then she called me. To be fair, she did like try to get in touch, and I was just like, fuck you.
Well, you know who that young lady was?
Christina Ricci.
A young Jodie Foster.
Oh wow, bringing it all of the old ones.
I haven't done that in a while. A young Christina Ricci.
My number 2, and I wouldn't say like dating, but I was like hanging out with this woman and we were really getting along well, and I thought it was going great. And then like we had a spat, and then I just like couldn't get out of my mind. So I signed up for this like radical experimental surgery procedure.
Oh God!
Where they like,
all right, Jim Carrey,
go into your memories. You see what I'm doing here, motherfuckers?
I still don't know what the game is, so I'm gonna give you a third shot.
You'll get another one. Don't worry. By the way, Kieran was in that movie too.
Was he?
No, he could have been. Look,
He played Elijah Wood.
oh shit. What's
Elijah Wood.
What's your 2?
Oh, okay. Okay, this one. Okay, so I was at a wedding. What is it? It was an engagement dinner, and so it's kind of later on. People kind of like disperse from the table to the bar and all that kind of stuff. And so I go up to see Kieran. Kieran's talking to this like nice little like young lady at the bar, and I go, "Hey, Kieran, how you doing?" He goes, and he immediately puts on that face, kind of just like this funny kind of like smirk. And he goes, turns to the girl and goes, "I would like you to meet my brother, Mac." And you know, and the girl turns to me and goes, I'd like you to fuck me as hard as you can. And I turned back to my brother, and he's like, he kind of just shrugs, and I'm like, what's going? And like I could tell she was a little drunk, so I was like, my first reaction is, let me get you a coffee, you know, like that kind of thing. And so like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's get some caffeine in you first.
Listen, sober up, and then I am down.
But she actually wasn't as drunk as I thought, and all that kind of stuff.
She was just very forward.
Yeah, she was just a
Did she want to fuck both of you?
No. I think I don't know.
Or was it like he was on a date and she was like, "Where's your brother?" Fuck that guy.
I think she was a DTF. I think just in general. I think she was on a tear. Was what it was. So, anyway. Fast forward, there's a lot I'm skipping over, but we end up in a taxi together, and then she ends up in my place. So, you know, I'm glossing over some details, but again, you know.
At least you got her that coffee.
Yeah.
Yes, but I got her that coffee. I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
So we end up at my place. We mess around a little bit, and then...
Did you only fuck her not as hard as you can?
Not as hard as I can.
She was like, you're only giving me 80%. This is bullshit. Take me back to that wedding.
They started talking like a high school football coach. It's just like, you know,
you got to give it the full 100%, man.
I want 110 out of you, Mac.
So when it was kind of like, all right, it's time for her to go, essentially, is what it is. It's like, and then I noticed like I would turn around for like 2 seconds, like literally like 5 seconds. She'd be on my laptop, it's like and like just doing something, and like my photos would be open.
That's weird,
or something like that.
That's not cool.
And then like she started kind of doing things like that, where I was kind of just like, I was like, let me call you a taxi so you can go home, and she was like, I don't have a home. She even said it like fucking Scarlett O'Hara or something like that. She's like, I don't have a home. I go, are you homeless? She goes, well, no, I'm from out of town. I go, okay, well, where are you staying? She goes, I don't know. I said, do you not know where you're staying? Or like, what's going on? You're confusing me.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I mean, I'm kind of staying with a friend or whatever. I go, where are your shoes? Where do you keep your shoes?
Good question.
Girls always live at where their shoe collection
your shoes
is.
Right now. Yeah.
Go to your collection of shoes because because
find your clothes. Yeah, where's your clothes?
Because I can't trust you for 2 seconds. I turn my head for 2 seconds, and like, you know, I'm not gonna hide all my valuables in my house.
Yeah.
It's time for you to go, kind of thing. Yeah. And then and I escorted her to a taxi and all that kind of stuff, and boom, put her in. Go back upstairs, and then she starts ringing my doorbell again. And she's like, I don't know where I'm going. And I'm like,
Oh no.
and I was like, seriously, like, do you really not know where you're going? Or do you want to stay here or something? And it's almost like your bad trip experience,
Yeah,
like
like
Sean.
never
Like,
ends.
yes, exactly. It kind of was a never ending kind of thing to get this young lady kind of to just go home. Just go
Leave my life.
home. Like, stop being weird in my house.
Yeah.
I don't really trust you. And
So
like, go
did you end
home.
up letting her back up?
No.
When she's ringing the doorbell, or like?
No, it was she just did. She wanted to hang out longer, but she was doing it in all the creepy kind of semi-stalker-esque ways.
Yeah.
That was kind of just, you make me uncomfortable with you being in my house,
Yeah.
and I'm being as gentlemanly as possible about this whole thing. But it went on for like freaking like 2 or 3 hours, kind of thing. Like I said, it was like a bad trip kind of thing. Like, and so. Yeah, so and funny part is like I forgot her name, and then it was the next day. It was like my buddy who was going to engage. He was like, "Oh, he finally kind of clued me in." He was like, "Oh, and he was the fucking worst. He was like, "Oh, her father just died." And like that's why she was probably acting that way. And I was like, and I said, "Oh my god, really?" He goes, "No, I'm just fucking with you. She's crazy." And I was like, "Are you serious now?" He goes, "Yeah, no, I'm just fucking with you. She's just my wife's crazy friend." So I should have warned you.
I like how your brother pawned her off on you
Totally.
so readily.
Right away.
Oh, meet my brother.
I would like you to meet my brother Mac. Like, you fucking dick.
Boy. So, all right, my worst dating experience was a pretty good date all the way up until the end. We were going back to my house to hook up. It was like the date had gone well.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, now
Go time.
We're like flirting in the car. And it was like, oh, we're definitely going to do stuff back at the house. And it was like pretty late. It was like maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was getting off the highway and my 2 front tires popped.
Both of them, too.
Like theoretically, probably walking distance from where our final destination was, but like it was 2 a.m. and I wasn't gonna be like walk with me to have sex. So like that was it. That was the end of the date. She like ended up calling a cab and like went home, and like I had to wait for like AAA to come and repair because I only had 1 spare tire in the back. I didn't have 2 spare tires.
Yeah.
So that was it. Like, yeah, that was it. Oh, it's such a bummer.
You were again?
We talked a couple times after that, but I think that was it.
There's a couple different endings to this kind of thing. You lock up your car. Yes, you do walk. You have a little
Should've walked,
romantical
right?
walk. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you should do that.
just left the
or
car.
you just ram in the car.
That's what I should have done.
That's what I
well,
mean.
we got 2 hours before
Exactly.
AAA
AAA is going to take a while. Like, yeah, you have a little fun in the
Hey,
car.
baby, how do you like the backseat of my Mazda?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking. Let those seats down.
Yeah, I guess
let
I
that hair
should've.
down. Let those seats down. There you go.
Yeah.
Live with regrets.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Do it. I guess for my number one, I'll do a real one. Kind of, I thought of it while we were talking. So, without any detail, I was at like a bar or a club once, and a friend of a friend. I was told like, hey, this girl was like, hey, my friend is into you. You should talk to her. And like me and this girl started talking, and like even making out a little bit. And she was like, hey, you should come back to my place. Let's go. And I was like, cool. Here's the deal though. I gotta go home and walk my dog. I'm not gonna leave my dog's been alone for like 6 hours. Like, and I'm a responsible dog owner. So I was like, you live like 10 minutes away from me. Let me go home, walk my dog. It'll take an additional like 15 minutes, and then I will come to your house and we can hook up or whatever, right? So I go home. I don't know if this also has any bearing on this story, but she was a pornography actress.
Well, why didn't she go back to your house and then you walk
Wasn't
the
an
dog
option.
together? So.
Didn't even present that option. Didn't
Cross your
didn't
mind.
cross my mind at the time. She was like, "Come home with me," and I was like,
Sure.
"I'll meet you at your
I
place."
don't want this dirty lady in my house, but I'll be inside of her
I'll
vagina.
meet you at your place. Let me get my dog. And I'll be honest too, I was a little intimidated because I'd never slept with someone who was like a porn star before,
Sure,
and I was like, "Oh, I got to psych myself up a little bit, right?" So
that's
I go
what it
and
is.
walk my dog, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. This will be fun. And I like drive over, and I get to her house, and I open the door, and her and her 3 roommates were like sitting on their couch, and they fucking all look at me like I'm the devil. And I was like, oh, what happened? They proceed to start screaming at me about how I was a piece of shit because I didn't go home with her, and I went home first, and like, and I kept going like,
I have a dog.
hey, I'm just gonna like smoke a bowl and they go, yeah, smoke your fucking bowl. And I was like, I just kept getting yelled at. And at a certain point I went like, I don't have to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that's weird.
left, and it was the strangest experience of all.
That's real weird.
Yeah.
They were
Even with the explanation of like I have
she
a
was
dog
so
that
insulted
depends on me to
that
pee.
I would have made her wait.
Wow, that you were like just wait and I'll be.
That
right
I was
there.
like, instead of having sex with you, I'd rather do anything else for a few minutes. That was enough for her to completely snap and turn her roommates against me.
you, yeah.
And there were like 3 women in this living room.
Why did they still allow you into their home?
Don't know.
Yeah,
And I was
they
like,
just
hey, I'm
wanted
outside.
to yell
They
at
wanted
you.
to yell at me.
Yeah,
They wanted to yell at me.
Sometimes porn stars just want to yell.
It was strange.
true.
It was really
There's a
strange.
lot of rage.
It seemed like at that point, I don't think she was gonna. She might have still hooked up with me even after yelling at me, but I didn't want that.
No, at that
She
point
was,
you
like,
feel weird.
Yelling at me in front of me.
Maybe that's what she calls foreplay. You know,
I don't know, man. It was real. It was real fucking weird though. And I remember driving home being like, I think I dodged a giant bullet.
Yeah.
as someone who dated a porn star, I can tell you, you dodged a giant bullet. It's the world's largest bullet. Yeah,
The girl shot.
I've never.
It's a large bullet hole.
I've never broken up with someone and felt physically like, oh, I dodged a bullet. Like, except for.
I mean,
her.
you didn't dodge a bullet as much as you had a bullet like lodged in the like
For a long
nape of
time,
your
I had
neck
a-
for 3 years, and it was slowly doing that spinning thing from like the cartoon where it was like burrowing its way into your
Deeper
body.
in, and it's
Yeah.
Someone finally extracted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Where you kind of neo'd it a little bit, that little matrixy.
Yeah, man. It was like, oh, I don't want to be involved in this world of weird girls at 3 a.m. who yell at people. I'm a stranger. Like, this is all weird.
You could have fucked Agent Smith. You know, yeah.
I'll also give, and I hate to be gross and lewd, but I'll give you one more comment about this story. We were like hooking up in this club, like making out and stuff, and she said like, she like put my hand on her crotch and was like, come on, let's stop doing pussy shit and have fun. And I was like, yo, we are in public. Okay,
That's
I'll
always
do
a
that.
red flag,
And then I
too.
did that, and then someone was later like, hey, it was kind of gross that you
were fingering this girl.
that girl at a club in public, and I was like, "Oh no! I thought it was the cool thing to do, though." She told me.
She said it was
told me
okay.
it was okay.
I got permission.
I was like, "Oh, not a good look to people who know me." So that's my number one worst story.
My number one is a story I've actually already told on the podcast, so I don't have to go into all the detail. But it was when that girl came over to my house. She was wearing a nice little party dress and all that kind of stuff, and she came over with no underwear on. No, you don't know this one. You haven't been listening to the podcast lately.
me.
So,
Sorry, I only have time for Pete Holmes.
but she was wearing a nice little party dress, and she came over with no underwear on and all that kind of stuff. And you know, she's very.
Can I borrow some underwear? I'm tragic.
Can you put this bikini on real quick? But she yeah. So we hook up and all kind of stuff, and we're both a little drunk. She stays in the bed. I come out to the living room, and there is a ice cream scoop dollop of shit on my floor. And
This is my favorite. This is my favorite story, and
I looked around, and I checked her shoes. It wasn't on her shoes. It wasn't on my shoes. It wasn't trailed into the apartment.
Been tracked in.
No, I think seriously, like I think when I left her alone for a minute or two, went to the bathroom, she I think she either popped a squat because she was that drunk, or it just slipped out because it was kind of like soft serve. It wasn't like a regular poopy.
maybe it was a fart, and it like just.
Did you call her out on it?
No, she was still sleeping. There's no reason to.
you clean up?
Yeah, I picked it up like you know. I've had dogs.
Like
I
dog
just-
shit.
Yeah, I cleaned up her shit.
Wow.
I never mentioned it to her again, but never
Did
like.
you ever
hooked
have
up-
sex with her again?
No. Like we were done. at
Yeah, that
point.
kills it, right?
Yeah, we have to like. It's
When
like
you have to clean up another adult human's feces.
you have to
Yeah.
really love that person to do it.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, no, she shit on my freaking on my rug. Yeah, so, cost of living single. You know?
I guess.
So I'm so glad I don't have to do that shit anymore. Clean up
Yeah,
shit, you know?
seriously.
It doesn't shit on the floor ever.
Well, no, it's just someone you don't love. You know.
Yeah. Once you love the person.
Brennan can shit all she wants.
Oh yeah.
Sharon Osbourne once told a story about Ozzy shitting the bed one night and how she like woke him up and moved him to the couch and then proceeded to clean his shit out of their bed. And I was like,
What else do you
she
do,
loves
though?
him.
Yeah,
I mean, I would have woken him up and been like, dude, clean the shit out of the bed.
Oh, sure.
But she was like, no, I didn't
sick.
want to bother him. He was sick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's love.
That's love. Yeah.
That's love, gang.
Yeah. All right, cool. I think we're done.
This was the show?
Yeah, this was a whole episode that we did. Woohoo!
We didn't. Matt Cohen, what do you have to plug?
Guess you have to find us nothing. Absolutely nothing. Leave me alone.
People leave Matt Cohen alone
If anything, unfollow me.
after these.
Camel toad
stories.
on everything. Ha ha.
Sean, go ahead.
Bunny Ears, bunnyears.com, Bunny Ears Web on Twitter, Bunny Ears Podcast on Instagram. Also check out Bunny Ears on YouTube to watch Macaulay Culkin meet The Undertaker. It's
that's pretty funny.
Guys, no one still has the phone number memorized? Because I sure as shit never did.
No one does.
Easy E hoax, but no one knows the first 3 number.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it's 845 Easy E hoax, but we like to give out the...
So we'll start with that. 845 Easy E hoax. Leave us a voicemail at the end of
Now
each
break
episode.
that down into numbers for people.
Sure.
Yeah, Sean. Sean, you got it, right?
So it's 845 Easy E hoax.
That's 393.
That's 393
Hoax.
845.
No. There's only one more number.
Oh, right. Sorry. It's 845-393-4629.
Yeah. So leave us a voicemail at the end of each episode. I'm at Incredible Culk on the Instagram and Culkamania on... Oh, actually, no, the other way around. I'm at Culkamania on Twitter and... No, I did it again. The Incredible
Macaulay Culkin.
Just Google Macaulay Culkin Instagram.
Go down like 2 results.
So
Click those little things.
I'm Incredible Culk on Twitter and Culkamania on Instagram. There we go. That's what I get for making them different.
What are you on TikTok?
We'll get it. Bunny Ears. Macaulay Culkin is Bunny Ears on TikTok. I'm pretty sure.
That's me. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
So,
I think that,
all right. Cool.
Sorry, Bunny Ears Official on TikTok for all the 18-year-old listeners that we have.
All right. Hope you enjoyed all the abuse from schools.
Yep.
All the drug things.
We suck
and
at
all
school. We all do drugs, and we love to fuck.
Yeah. There we
All
go.
right.
That's an episode.
Now voicemails.
Yeah, now we go to
Suck a dick.
voicemails.
Don't suck a dick. Send pictures of dicks. Send pictures of dicks.
We're always getting voicemails. You dial 845 Easy E hoax. I said it's 845 Easy E hoax. It might sound dumb, but it's not a joke. It's 845 Easy E hoax. Motherfucking hoax. That's 845-393-4629. Motherfucking hoax. Voicemails.
Hey, Mac, it's Lydia. I'm the one you usually call the girl with the hair, Lydia Bugs. I came over to your house that one time and I found a lot of dead parrots. I just wanted to call and say I love the show and keep doing what you're doing, and thanks for hiring me. Okay, bye.
Hey, Macaulay, I just wanted to let you know that my friend Ruben sucks. Hey, Mac, my name's Gabby. I called you last year on my birthday, and today's my birthday again, so I wanted to keep up the tradition. I actually got some earrings with your picture on it, so just wanted to say hey, and suck a dick.
Hey, Mac. I just wanted to know what your favorite constellation was.
Thanks.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Is it okay to call you the king of millennials? Fuck you, Mac.
Find me, gag me, take me to the bunny ranch.
You are freaking lumberjack!
Oh my God.
Let's kung fu.
My favorite part was when Macaulay Culkin saved the princess from the castle. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Otherwise, that dragon's going to steal her back, and you don't want that.